beginning to end. The weather was vile, George sprained his ankle, I caught a cold and had to stay in bed for 2 days. And to crown everything, the lamp fell over in the sitting room and set fire to the treatise George had written on hyperplasia of the abdominal glands.
How dreadful.
Oh yes, he had to write the whole thing over again. Every single word. I wouldn't worry about your husband's arms, Aunt Mine. I'm sure it's only sprain.
It's not his arm I'm worried about.
And I'm sure Edith will be up and about again in a few days.
My cook gave notice this morning.
Really? Servants are awful, aren't they? Not a shred of gratitude. At the first sign of trouble, they run off on you, like rats leaving a sinking ship.
I can't feel that your simile was entirely fortunate, Mrs. Bradman.
Oh, of course I didn't mean it like that, Mrs. Condamine.
Well,
It's all right, Mrs. Condamine. It's only a slight sprain.
I'm so relieved.
I made a good deal of fuss while I was looking it over. Men are much worse patients than women, you know. Particularly high-strung men like your husband.
Is he highly strung, do you think?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I wanted to talk to you about that. I'm afraid he's been overworking lately.
Overworking?
He's in rather a nervous condition. Nothing serious, you understand.
What makes you think so?
I know the symptoms. Of course, the shock of his fall might have something to do with it. But I certainly should advise a complete rest for a couple of weeks.
You mean he ought to go away?
I do. In such cases, a change of atmosphere can work wonders.
What symptoms did you notice?
Nothing to be unduly alarmed about. A certain air of strain. An inability to focus his eyes on the person he's talking to. Two rather marked irrelevancies in the conversation.
I see. Can you remember any specific example?
I was suddenly asked, "What are you doing in the bathroom?" And then a little later, when I was writing a prescription, he suddenly shouted, "For heaven's sake, behave yourself."
Oh, extraordinary.
He often goes on like that, particularly when he's immersed in writing a book.
I'm not in the least perturbed about it, really. But I do think a rest and a change would be a good idea.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
Well, we really better be off.
How's poor Edith?
Oh, she'll be all right in a few days. She's still recovering from her concussion.
It is funny, isn't it, that both your housemaid and your husband should fall down on the same day?
Yes, that sort of thing amuses you.
Of course I didn't mean it like that.
Come along, darling. You're talking too much, as usual.
You are horrid, George. Goodbye, Mrs. Condamine. Goodbye.
I'll pop in and have a look at both patients sometime tomorrow morning.
Thank you so much.
Well, how does it feel?
All right.
It's only a sprain, you know.
Is this ridiculous sling really essential?
It's a wise precaution. It will prevent you using your left hand except when absolutely necessary.
I had intended to go into Folkestone this evening.
It really would be much better if you didn't.
Well, it's extremely inconvenient.
You can easily wait and go tomorrow.
I can't stand another one of these dreary evenings at home, Charles. It'll drive me dotty. And I haven't seen a movie in 7 years.
Well, let me be the first to congratulate you.
Everything all right?
Charles, be sensible, I implore you.
Sorry, I forgot.
You can drive the car if you promise to go very slowly and carefully. Your gear changes on the right, I presume.
Yes.
Well, carefully does it.
You'd much better stay at home.
Couldn't you drive him in?
I'm afraid not. I have lots to do in the house, and there's Edith to be attended to.
Well, I'll let you two sort this out amongst yourselves. But remember, if you do go to town, carefully does it, Oh, the roads are very slippery anyhow.
Goodbye again, Mrs. Condamine. Goodbye!
Really, Elvira, you are infuriating. Surely you can wait and go to the movies another night. Whoa! And stop behaving like a schoolgirl. You're old enough to know better.
What?
I was talking to Elvira.
She isn't here.
She was a moment ago. She threw a rose at me.
She's been very high-spirited all day. I remember this mood of old. I think it means she's up to something.
You're sure she isn't here?
Yes, quite sure.
I want to talk to you.
Oh, no.
I must. It's important.
You've behaved very well the last few days, Ruth. You're not going to stop making scenes again, are you?
I resent that air of patronage, Charles. I have behaved well, as you call it, because there is nothing else to do. However, I think it only fair to warn you that I offer no guarantee for the future.
As far as I can tell, the situation is just as difficult for Elvira as it is for you, if not more so. The poor thing comes back trusting her after all those years in the other world, and what is she faced with? Nothing but brawling and hostility.
What did she expect?
Well, surely even an ectoplasmic manifestation has the right to deserve a little of the milk of human kindness.
Milk of human fiddlesticks.
That just doesn't make sense, dear.
Elvira is about as trusting as a puff adder.
And your granite, Ruth, sheer unyielding granite.
And she's a good deal more dangerous into the bargain.
Dangerous? Never heard anything so ridiculous. How could a poor, lonely, wistful little spirit like Elvira be dangerous?
Quite easily. And she is. She's beginning to show her hand.
How do you mean? In what way?
This is a fight, Charles. A bloody battle. A duel to the death between Elvira and me. Don't you realize that?
Melodramatic hysteria.
It isn't melodramatic hysteria. It's true. Can't you see?
No, I can't. You're imagining things. Jealousy causes people to have the most curious delusions.
I am making every effort not to lose my temper with you, Charles. And I must say you're making it increasingly difficult for
All
me.
this talk of battles and duels.
She came here with one purpose. And one purpose only. And if you can't see it, then you're a bigger fool than I thought you.
What purpose could she have beyond a natural desire to see me again? After all, you must remember that she was extremely attached to me, poor child.
Her purpose is perfectly obvious. It is to get you to herself forever.
That's absurd. How could she?
By killing you off, of course.
Killing me off? You're mad.
Why do you suppose Edith fell down the stairs and nearly cracked her skull?
What's Edith got to do with it?
Because the whole of the top stair was covered in axle grease. Cook discovered it afterwards.
You're making this up, Ruth.
I'm not. I swear I'm not. Why do you suppose when you were lopping that dead branch off the pear tree that the ladder broke? Because it had been nearly sawn through on both sides.
But why should she want to kill me? I can understand her wanting to kill you, but why me?
Your death would be her final triumph over me. She'd have you with her forever on her blasted astral plane, and I'd be left high and dry. But she's probably planning some sort of spiritual remarriage. I wouldn't put anything past her. Don't you see now?
No, she couldn't be so sly, so wicked. She couldn't.
Couldn't she just?
I grant you that as a character, she's always been rather light and irresponsible, but I would never have believed her capable of low cunning.
Perhaps the spirit world has deteriorated her.
Ruth.
Oh, for heaven's sake, stop looking like a wounded spaniel and concentrate. This is serious.
What are we to do?
You're not to let her know to suspect a thing. Behave perfectly ordinary as though nothing had happened. I'm going to see Madame Arcati. I don't care how cross she is. She's got to help us. Even if she can't get rid of Elvira, she must know some technical method of rendering her harmless. If a trance is necessary, she shall go into a trance if I have to beat her into it. I'll be back in half an hour.
This is appalling.
Never mind about that now. Remember, don't give yourself away by so much as a flick of the eyelid.
Look out.
What?
I merely said it's a nice lookout.
What's a nice lookout?
The weather, Elvira.
Oh, I find it difficult to believe that you and Ruth, at this particular moment, can't think of anything more interesting to talk about than the weather.
I can't stand it anymore. I
She asked if you'd gone off again.
How dare you talk like that, Elvira? Charles, I'm not talking about the weather, as you so very shrewdly suggested. I should loathe you to think that we had any secrets from you. And so I will tell you exactly what we were talking about. I was trying to convince Charles not to go into Folkestone. It would be bad for his arm, and you can perfectly easily wait and go tomorrow. However, as he seems determined to place your wishes before mine in everything, I'm sure I hope you both enjoy yourselves.
There now.